At this point, I feel like it cannot be understated just how incompetently Sega managed the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, and with the release of Sonic Origins, I think it is safe to say they have lost their damn minds.
Hello there, welcome back to the Channel Pop Roadshow, and today we will be reviewing Sonic Origins.
An ongoing problem with a lot of Sonic games is that they're often good, but with a qualifying statement. These games are good, but. These games are good if you can look past. These games are good if you are willing to put up with. However, when it comes to those classic Sonic games, yeah, they're generally just good. But unfortunately, we're back here again, as now even they have a qualifying statement attached to them. The Sonic Origins collection is good if you have never played these games before and you want your first experience with the classic Sonic games. These games are good if you haven't played them and you just want to buck up on your Sonic history. Maybe you're becoming a fan after playing games like Sonic Generations and you want to know a little more about Sonic's history. You want to play some of those levels, the original versions of the ones that we saw in games like Sonic Generations and Mania. However, if you know these games, the problems with this collection are going to be very apparent. And even if you don't, even if you've never played these games before, I would be hard-pressed to say that this collection is worth the asking price currently. If that money's really burning a hole in your pocket and you just gotta have some new Sonic that you haven't played before, then okay, I can recommend this. But that's the only reason I can recommend it. If you are none the wiser to what these games were and how good they can be, then you're probably okay. You might encounter a few frustrating glitches here and there, but you're probably okay. If you don't know what these are supposed to be, and you really got some money burning a hole in your pocket, then by all means pick up this collection. However, any other way, I cannot in good faith recommend this. So in a sec, we're going to go a little more in depth. We're going to talk about this from kind of a Sonic enthusiast perspective, and we're going to kind of point out things that even if you're not necessarily a Sonic enthusiast, if you know what these games are supposed to be, like, these things will be apparent. Before we get into that though, if you like Sonic, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. But if you've done that already, help Pup here out and hit the like button. But if you really want to take it to the next level,
Then be sure to join my cult and hit the patron link in the description below, and I will try to make it worth your while.
Okay, that's enough of that. It's time for a little history lesson. In 2011, Sega released a new updated version of Sonic CD. This was released on the current at that time consoles, the mobile phone marketplace, and onto the Steam store. However, this was no ordinary re-release of Sonic CD. This time the game had been completely reworked into the retro engine by Christian Whitehead, allowing them to actually fix some of the issues that existed with that game, such as poor hit detection, a better frame rate, and now for the first time the game was playable in the 16:9 aspect ratio without stretching the image or compromising its quality. This new version also came with some new content as well, such as the option to switch between soundtracks and being able to switch to a more conventional version of the spin dash. In 2013, the same was done again, this time with Sonic 1 and 2. Like with the Sonic CD remaster, these games felt better than ever before, and came with new features such as remastered audio, and even a re-implementation of a stage originally missing from Sonic the Hedgehog 2. The downside was though that Christian Whitehead's improved versions of Sonic 1 and 2 would not release onto consoles, instead just staying on the mobile market. These games are still available today and can be purchased for around about $1.99. But somehow, for some unknown reason, it took Sega 9 whole years to put these onto console. In that interim period, there were still versions of these games available for console, often running on emulation, and in coinciding with the release of Sonic Mania, the Sega Ages ports of Sonic 1 and 2 also dropped, which implemented the drop dash into the gameplay, but still, they were in 4x3 and they didn't have the other improvements that came with the Whitehead ports. So Sega had literal gold dust for 9 years and did nothing with it. Then there's also the lack of any kind of remaster for Sonic 3 and Knuckles. The story does go a bit deeper here. I'm not going to go too far into it, but obviously, after the passing of Michael Jackson, Sonic 3 and Knuckles seemed to disappear off the planet. There was this big urban legend surrounding Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Allegedly, Michael Jackson worked on the soundtrack for the game, but his credit was nowhere to be found. Reasons can span from the controversy surrounding Michael Jackson at the time, but also Michael Jackson allegedly not liking the way the music sounded on the Sega Mega Drive sound chip. Little about this is known, however we do know that Michael Jackson's longtime collaborator Brad Buxer did a lot of the legwork on the Sonic 3 soundtrack. So allegedly, the Michael Jackson estate have put up quite a fight regarding letting this music be in the game, which has stood in the way of re-releases. So could they really help the fact that, they couldn't actually release this game with its soundtrack intact? Well, Sonic 3 and Knuckles was finally set to make its big return in the Sonic Origins collection. So maybe that wait paid off. Maybe they really took that time to get these rights secured. Or they just used the original soundtrack that was originally made for it prior to Michael Jackson's involvement. You mean to tell me it took them 13 years before they finally decided to just include the old soundtrack? What the hell were they doing that entire time? Even if they were fighting for the rights to the old music, they could have at least released a version of it with the old soundtrack, because such a thing already existed in the Sonic & Knuckles collection on PC. So here's the thing, however you look at it, it took way too long for us to finally get a product like Sonic Origins, which would include that remaster of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, as well as finally bringing those mobile ports to console. As far as management goes, that's still an absolute failure in my book. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is a gold dust game, and they had gold dust just sitting there for 13 years? Are you kidding me? And then you got the Sonic 1 and 2 ports, which are gold dust ports, which they had sitting about for 9 freaking years. But it's fine, it's all finally here, better late than never, all at a nice price tag of Jesus. Now, when they first announced this price tag, my first thought was, okay, we're subsidizing the rights to the Michael Jackson music, right? But no, it really just, it costs that, I guess. In the place of the Michael Jackson music, yeah, we have the old soundtrack, but it's allegedly been remastered by Sonic music veteran Jun Sono. And let me just tell you, this guy is my all-time favorite Sonic music artist. This guy is the voice of the Sonic franchise, as far as I'm concerned, or the sound of the Sonic franchise, rather. And we had a pretty good idea of what to expect, as the prototype music was floating around as well, so we had some idea of what this music would sound like in Sega Mega Drive sound fonts. So, Jun, what do you got? Oh, so I really have to wonder what actually happened here. Let me be real, I'm not musically inclined, I know very little about music or music production. And maybe, just maybe, there's some musician out there that can approach me and say, actually, this is why this is the way it is. But it just sounds worse. My ears might be untrained, but I think the majority of people that are playing this will have untrained ears, and this just sounds worse than the prototypes. However, while a lot of people are kind of fixated on the topic of the music of Sonic 3, there's not a lot of talk about how bad the rest of the audio in this is. Sonic 1 and 2 do have remastered audios in these ports, yet for some reason don't have the better remasters of the mobile versions. I have no idea why. But then Sonic 3 and Knuckles is just a complete enigma. All of the music in this game is hideously compressed, even compared to how this sounded on the original Sega Mega Drive. Going from the previous games in this collection through to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, it's like, geez, what happened here? Have you guys lost your minds? Is this really the best you could do? But again, even the audio in the existing mobile ports that has been moved over to this collection has been changed. Again, the remastered soundtracks of Sonic 1 and 2 from the mobile ports are nowhere to be found. Heck, in Sonic CD, in the original release of the Christian Whitehead version, there was a new musical function that would allow the music to loop organically without having that bit of dead space while the music tries to loop again like it did in the original release. Where did that go? Why is that not here? There are other frustrations I feel towards the music, but they do get a little bit more trivial at this point. There's nothing really objective here, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I think anyone that ever scrolled through the sound test on Sonic the Hedgehog 2 remembers that enigma of that strange, mysterious song that doesn't seem to play anywhere else in this game. But then the Sonic 2 beta leaked online, finally answering that question of what does this music belong to. So why the flying fudgesicle is it not here in the re-release? Now the same was true of the mobile port as well. This isn't a new problem to Origins, but they put the Mystic Cave multiplayer music in there when they had a track that belonged to this zone that they could have freaking used. I don't understand the thought process. You have a piece of Sonic music without a purpose, and you could give it that purpose, officially, and you don't. Are you out of your mind? But then it gets better, because in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Super Sonic was supposed to have his own devoted theme. It was in the prototype version. For some reason, though, they made him a new theme. A new theme that is in a completely different style to the rest of the music that's in this game. A new theme that sounds like it belongs to Sonic the Hedgehog 4. While this game includes that original Supersonic theme in the museum and just shrugs its shoulders like, oh, it's this mysterious song and we don't know where it goes. Where is the research department with this release? Where are they? And there's just a sound effects. Why does the drop dash now make a hideous high frequency screech? If you do that too often and there's a dog in the room, it's gonna freak out. I'm warning you now. In Sonic Mania, no such problem exists. Do you like the soundtrack for Sonic the Hedgehog 2? I sure do. But good luck listening to any of it if you've got Tails following you, because he just jumps constantly because he keeps getting lost off screen rather than respawning into the game like he used to. Yep, Tails is scuffed in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And that's not the only thing that is scuffed. There are issues with the hit and hurt boxes being a little out of whack, leading to plenty of complete BS deaths. There are layer collision problems in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which make certain loop-de-loops a little out of bounds. You gotta backtrack a little bit until it goes off screen and then approach it again. I wanna make clear, these issues were not present in the mobile port, so what the hell happened here? Did you really scuff the game up this badly trying to implement a drop dash? Because if that's the case, I'd rather you didn't even bother with that. Then if you're playing on PC, you're going to experience a few little bits of input lag issue. Because the thing's running on frickin' Denuvo, which is an anti-cheat, anti-hacking software notorious for buggering up games' performances, and it's been removed from plenty of games. Heck, Sega's even learned their lesson here with them removing it from Sonic Mania, so why is it back here? But while they remembered the Denuvo, they forgot about the nearest neighbor, which is a function that allows pixels to be rendered crystal clear, razor sharp. And that's not present, so this game looks a little soft, a little blurry. Definitely not the HD remaster that you'd expect, which is even weirder considering that the mobile ports that this game allegedly brings back into the fold had that. And what's funny is that fan modders modded it in on the first day. It would have taken at most 1 day for Sega to incorporate that. And if you're playing this on consoles where you have no such luxury as mods, you're not gonna get that. You're gonna get your soft version. Red Hot Sonic even did a comparison between original hardware and the new version. The original hardware playing on an HD TV is crisper than this. Sonic 3 and Knuckles even has some really egregious glitches. I've heard of instances of people losing their Chaos and Super Emerald progress late into the game. The Emeralds are integral to getting that game's definitive ending. They don't just unlock Super Sonic, they unlock an additional final boss. Imagine earning your Emeralds in that game only to have them robbed because the game decided, screw it, you don't get to keep them. There are other glitches such as white water, the palette going haywire. Yes, some of these glitches were in the original release back in 1994, but the fact is, it's 2022, they shouldn't be here. Part of the reason why they had these games completely recompiled into the retro engine was so they could fix things like this. Now, I want to make clear, what I'm saying here is no slight to the devs. Their jobs on this at Headcanon were nothing to be sneezed at. What this boils down to is mismanagement from Sega, which they have even spoken out about, saying they needed more time, saying that their work on this was tampered with in-house. And the thing is, I would absolutely be against the idea of delaying a compilation of classic Sonic games, but it's clear that this would have led to a more finished product. You know what the simple solution is? Maybe don't wait 9 freaking years before doing something like this, because it's now been proven that all that wait time was completely unnecessary. I 100% get the feeling that this project was only started on when it was announced. Now, I'll be honest, it's not all terrible. There are still some changes to these games which are good. The implementation of the drop dash is pretty good. It certainly helps the time travel in Sonic CD, which was an otherwise incredibly cumbersome mechanic. There are new sprite animations added to Sonic 3 and Knuckles. There's a new transition between the Sonic 3 chapter and the Sonic and Knuckles chapter. They've reincorporated Big Arm as a boss for the Sonic 3 end of things. Now you can fight it as Sonic and Tails as opposed to just Knuckles. And there's a wealth of cool new features for Sonic 1 in the cheat menu, including the Insta Shield and other elemental shields which really enhance the playtime. On a whole, while respectable work has been done here by the devs though, the improvements really kind of pale in comparison to the damage that has actually been done to these. Like, it's in 16:9 now, it's got some nice new animations now, but at the cost of really bad hit detection now. Scuffed up sound quality with horrible new renditions of a soundtrack that was perfectly fine left alone. Remastered visuals are somehow softer than the original. New bugs, including a bug so egregious that when I played Sonic 2, I had to do it as just Sonic, not having Tails bouncing around that whole time. Another new feature to this set is that they've got rid of the life system and replaced it with tokens. Okay, that's not a terrible idea, because the tokens still incentivize a little bit of discovery, looking around these different areas, exploring. But that's now without the dread of having to game over and losing all of your progress in the level, which is smart, and those tokens unlock different goodies at the museum. Unfortunately, these goodies are nothing special. That sounds really cynical, like in isolation they're all good, but if you have access to the internet, you will not need to unlock these in this game. A much better use for the coins is to use them to retry the special stages, which, yeah, is actually a very welcome feature. You don't lose the challenge of the special stages, but they are at least a bit more accessible. And given that the Sonic 2 special stages in particular have this tendency to blindside you with bombs and obstacles that can completely throw any progress you have, it's only right that you get a chance or two to retry them. I said it once, I'll say it again. Relying too much on memorization is not good game design. There is such a thing as telegraphing, and I think that the classic Sonic games over-rely a little too much on memorization. Then of course, yeah, the museum. The museum was kind of included for die-hard fans. Yeah, like if you're a die-hard, you've probably seen all of this stuff already. There is some nifty production art for this game in specific, but other than that, you're looking at like condensed versions of the Sonic Symphony, which you can watch the entire thing on YouTube. Sonic Mania Adventures, which you can watch on YouTube. And then there's like the premium collection music, which is stuff from Sonic Generations, there to remind us of a much better anniversary. Of course, you can get a little more out of this by buying the DLC, which includes some more music for you to unlock at the museum, all of which you can just find on a YouTube search. As a matter of fact, they've even mislabeled the majority of the DLC music here. But that's okay, because in that same DLC, you get the option of being able to switch which little sprite plays next to your music. Yep, let's talk about the DLC. Now, a good DLC is where you're getting a little something extra, a nice add-on to your experience. A bad DLC is what this is, where they've clearly just sliced little pieces of meat off of this game and decided to sell them piecemeal. You know it's bad news when the majority of your DLC is just decorative purposes on the menu screens. If you like those 3D islands in the background there and want to zoom in on them, well, good news, you can purchase a zooming function. This is the kind of DLC that doesn't just cost money, it costs brain cells. I can think of few worse investments. Beyond, like, I guess, a donation to PETA or an NFT, this is effectively money for a slap in the face. And that digital deluxe version, which advertised exclusive playable characters, well, the characters are nowhere to be found. I don't know at what point Sega decided it was completely okay to engage in false advertisement, but here we are. I think the best thing to come from the DLC is the extra hard missions, which make up an additional part of the mission mode, which is, again, one of the better parts of this game. Yeah, these missions are all pretty basic sort of challenges. They revolve around a specific gimmick, but it's a little extra from these games, you know, and I think that's actually not a terrible incentive. Doesn't make it worth the price, but it is one of the better additional extras here. And competing for the leaderboards is something you can have a lot of fun with. Another solid addition is the new Blue Spheres game. Yeah, the Blue Sphere game was something that existed back in the day if you tried to hook Sonic and Knuckles up with an incompatible cartridge, but now you've got a new version which really doubles down on the idea, with additional sphere types which have different functions, such as teleportation, and green spheres which you've got to turn into the blue spheres before you turn them into the red spheres. This is a cool new feature. There's also Mirror Mode and Boss Rush, which do what they say on the tin. But the thing is, if you're going to give us all this fluffy stuff, you're going to want to get those original games right, which they just haven't done justice here. I would rather have these games polished and done right than have all of these fluffy extras on top of broken versions of these games. And let me reiterate, these are by no means unplayable, but it's kind of a death by 1,000 cuts thing. How did they let so much slip up here? This is a re-release of games that are around about 30 years old, and you mean to tell me they need patches? Also, get this, when you've completed these games, you cannot go back and play previous levels. At least not on that save. You can use a cheat code to get a level select up, and you can go to the leaderboards and retry your latest record. But put it this way, if you beat Sonic 2 the whole way through with all of the Chaos Emeralds with Super Sonic unlocked, and you want to select that save and play again, you'll be chucked into the death egg. You cannot select previous levels. And if you try and level select via the leaderboard, you will not retain Super Sonic. The mobile ports had this function. You could go back and select levels. This is a joke. Sega, you should be ashamed of yourselves. And again, this is completely down to mismanagement. I don't blame any of this onto the devs. A lot of people were really passionate with this project, and it does show, especially in the newly animated cutscenes. We now have these transitionary cutscenes that lead from one game to another. These are beautifully animated and really contextualize things better. Previously with these games, you have to rely on the manual to kind of understand what's actually going on in the stories, whereas here, you actually get that context thanks to these animations. We finally, in the games, get to see Amy use tarot cards. There's finally a little evidence of that character trait. And the music remixes that go with those cutscenes are really amazing. It's so cool to have an opening cutscene for Sonic 1. This is like Sonic's first appearance. There is some real historic relevance here. Sadly though, it does actually lose a little something. You see, in Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and Sonic CD, the way you played those games would influence the ending. In Sonic 1, if you got all of the Chaos Emeralds, you would get a different, better ending. And in Sonic CD, if you didn't get the good futures or the time stones, then the little planet would remain encased. However, the cutscenes that play at the end of these games, the new ones, show Sonic with all of the emeralds at the end of Sonic 1, regardless of if you collected them all. And the same goes with Sonic CD, the little planet is free, regardless of whether or not you saved it, which takes so much out of the experience of actually earning those endings. I feel like those endings definitely should have been locked behind the collection of the Chaos Emeralds and the good futures. Either that, or it would have been cool to commission different versions of these endings, one without the Chaos Emeralds for Sonic 1, and one with the little planet still encased for Sonic CD. Just little details like that go a long way. And considering that this game does kind of prioritize immersion to an extent, in that it has a story mode now, you'd think that would be kind of a priority. But then there's story mode, the feature I was looking forward to the most, which ended up being the most pointless. Advertisers merging all of these games together as one big game, but it's not really that. It's much more just, you don't have to go back to the menu to select the next game now. Each of these games still have their own set of credits. There is no convincing you that this is now all one game. Great, thanks. Another missed opportunity. You know what's really sad is that this is now like one of the only ways to play these games legally as well now. You know, this is one of the only releases because they delisted so many of the previous releases of these games. Preservation be damned, but don't worry, they've got you covered with a classic mode, which is advertised as the original experience. The live system is back, there's no coins, yay, except it's really not the classics. The new visuals and music are still there. Sonic can still spin dash in Sonic 1. The new cutscenes still play. So what's the difference here then? You just got a live system now, there's no drop dash, and it's in 4x3. You know what would have been better than these classic and anniversary modes? It would have been better if they were customizable, in the kind of way that Sonic 1 is customizable from the cheat menu. It would be cool if on each game I could decide whether or not I want elemental shields, whether I want the insta-shield, if I want the super peel out, if I want the game to run in 4x3, if I want the live system. They could literally have a customization menu. And then they could have like recommended settings. You could have anniversary settings. You could have classic settings, all of these presets, but then you could allow the player to mix and match. That would be pretty sweet, wouldn't it? I know that there's going to be a lot of people in the comments saying, you really think you can do a better job than the developers? And no, I don't think I can do a better job than the developers. I don't think I can do a better job than the artists. I think I could do a better job with the management of this project though. First things first, get started way sooner. I would have had these going out way sooner than this. Secondly, do not delist the original versions. There's still money to be made there, why would you do that? Make each game available separately, but it's actually better value if you buy them all together. And for new functions, prioritize things like online multiplayer races, online multiplayer co-op. What does Sega have against online multiplayer? That could be such a cool selling point. Rather than just classic and anniversary mode, offer mix and match options. But more than anything else, give your devs the time to get this right. How embarrassing. Just that we're here in 2022 with a release of games that are approximately 30 years old, releasing with new bugs, new glitches, and releasing at such a high price tag with so little additional content. How embarrassing that it took them this long to release the mobile ports onto consoles. How embarrassing that it took them 13 years to figure out that the key to the Michael Jackson music is to not include the Michael Jackson music. How embarrassing that they let one of the greatest games they've made be held hostage over that for all this time when the solution was to just not include that music. How embarrassing that this collection is so much smaller than the collections that preceded it. How embarrassing that the clock on the timer doesn't time out. It just stays there at 9:59. It doesn't even continue to count up. The bottom line here is Sonic Origins, how embarrassing. And what's worse is that just a few months prior, we had Sonic Colors Ultimate, a game that was literally exploding with problems. A game that was patched to the point of being barely satisfactory and nothing better. How embarrassing that we've had 2 remasters on the jump for games that were smothered in goodwill that they've now devalued. And how embarrassing that the big mass market film company that bought the rights to this character, the company that initially came up with this, are doing so much better with managing this absolute gold dust IP than the freaking company that birthed him in a compilation of games that were already good. And again, the devs, I have nothing but sympathy and respect. But Sega managing this project, you should be ashamed of yourselves, really. There was a time when I would buy the new Sonic thing. I didn't really need to rebuy games I'd already played, but I wanted to see what this new collection had to offer. But I'm really more interested in the new games. And even that's looking questionable right now. But I'm just saying this right now, Sega, any more re-releases or remasters, I'm not buying them. I'm not, because it's quite clear that these are just cash grabs. This was a massive cash grab, as was Sonic Colors Ultimate. Happy 30th anniversary, Sonic. Now, I also want to state here, and it should go without saying, it really, really should, but this is the internet at the end of the day. If you really like this game, if you had a great experience with it, that's awesome. You know, if you want to give this a good glowing review, you're completely at your liberty to. I might disagree, but hey, that's the beauty of the internet. We can disagree on things, man. But the thing is, if you love this game, I'm not going to talk down to you about that, you know? I'm not going to try and treat you as any lesser than me or any less intelligent. There's a lot of different perspectives here. And you know what? I love a little positivity. I think we can all go for a little positivity from time to time. It's nice. But I have seen some people around about on Twitter and on YouTube saying, ugh, Sonic fans can just never be pleased, can they? It's fine, blah blah blah. Putting others down because they are, quite rightfully so, criticizing this product that they paid a strangely high amount for, considering it is at the end of the day money for old rope. If you're out there fighting tooth and nail against people that don't like it to defend this game, which doesn't really need defending because A, Sonic's not real, and B, it's going to be a commercial success regardless, well, put it this way, there are people that are paid to protect the image of this IP. It's part of the marketing department. And if you're doing that for free, fighting against people that are criticizing the game, well, there is a word for people like you. A sucker. Because not only did you hand your money over for this product that could be a lot better, you're now doing free work for him. I think Sonic fans need to realize Sonic isn't going to end if enough people criticize it. Sonic is a brand mascot. He's Sega's baby. They might not treat him like it, but Sega would go under before Sonic does. And there's no signs of Sega currently going under. And even if they did, before they actually go under, they would start selling the rights to their IPs piecemeal. So no, Sonic is not going to disappear off of the face of the planet if you don't buy the next Sonic game. Am I saying not to buy it? No. No, give it a go. You know, if you want to play it, play it. But you don't need to be protective of this IP that is owned by a multi-billion-dollar company. I'm sorry to break this news, but Sonic is imaginary. He's not real. There is no blue hedgehog out there feeling upset and hurt because I criticized his game. There is no hedgehog out there that is welling up and feeling all choked up at the fact that you're still supporting him after all this time. Sonic does not need defending. These are products, we are paying for them, and it is okay that we criticize them. It is not okay that we are insulted by a subpar product. It is not okay that we're getting a 30 years later re-release of games which is worse than what came before. And if you're fine with it, that's fine. Don't go putting others down who disagree, okay? Can't believe I'm having to say that. Anyways, that's me done. I wish I could have been more positive about this. At the same time, I wish Sega would just stick a rocket up their ass and learn how to manage this gold dust IP. They don't deserve him, they really don't. So what do you guys think? If you enjoyed this video and you want to support more like it, be sure to hit that big, beautiful subscribe button. And of course, in the description below are links to different social media feeds, including the Patreon. If you're feeling extra generous, like the following people, who are Marcus Ward, Sirius the Skeptic, Biotinarts, Mr. SP, David 20 Covers, Sergio, Shodin, Legendary Ray Ray, Adam Myers. Thank you guys, you are the best of the best. But as for the rest of you, thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great day.